European headlines coming fast and furious this morning. The latest is the ECB officials see a rate cut as the primary tool for any new stimulus. You see yields on the 10-year German Bund yield just completely dropping, negative 31 basis points. Joining us now in Sintra is Bloomberg's Matt Miller. Matt, Mike McKee was talking about how this wasn't surprising, yet it feels like the market was surprised.
Well, certainly I think the market was surprised. I think what Mike is saying is that it wasn't surprising given what Mario Draghi had outlined this morning. I think actually Mike makes one of the most important points, which is if you heard what Draghi said, he seemed to already be making arguments that he has the legal jurisdiction to change the rules on quantitative easing, to change the rules on what they can buy, the capital key, etc. And he was citing the European Court of Justice as backing up the ECB, I think because he may be worried that they'll be challenged if they do try and buy more bonds. So Mike made that point, and I think it's a very strong one. The other thing that Mike said is that forward guidance hasn't really done anything. Well, that's true. I mean, they could just continue to move the goalposts back further and further in terms of when they're going to raise rates next, or when they promise they won't raise rates until. And it really hasn't helped markets. The key here is to look at the five-year forwards, and you just see European inflation expectations dropping like a Led Zeppelin. And that's what's worried Mario Draghi and everybody here at Sintra. That's why they feel that they have to act now. Well,
ECB and everybody else. I mean, you could say the same thing whether it comes to the U.S. or Japan, all rolling over or staying near zero in the case of Japan. Any word yet on that President Trump tweet that came in that said basically threw some shade at Mario Draghi, saying that he's announcing and basically manipulating the currency at the end of the day?
Well, I haven't heard any word officially from the ECB about that, but let's see if President Trump thinks Jerome Powell is manipulating the currency when he comes out with another dovish tilt at the Fed meeting. I mean, look, these central bankers are going to do what they can to try and keep inflation up. They all have clearly got targets, and to try and keep their economic growth up. You know, Draghi doesn't expect, or the ECB doesn't expect, growth of any more than 1.2% this year. That's half of what you're going to see in America. They don't expect inflation to get up to 1.6% until 2021, and that's still well below their 2% target. So he's got to do something, and it's a little bit unfair if any move that he makes is criticized as manipulating his currency. On the other hand, who isn't manipulating their currency?